Like to call to order Town Council regular meeting, September 21st, 2023, Cape Charles Civic Center. Could I have a roll call, please?
Buckholz present.
Holloway present.
Grossman present.
Palmer present.
Let it be known we've established a quorum, and if we could please all rise for a moment of silence and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we will start off with recognition of one of our own here in Cape Charles for a night that I was actually a part of. And it was great to see what Officer Tommy Lynch did to keep our town safe, and in recognition for his heroic actions above and beyond the call of duty, using his police vehicle to stop a fleeing vehicle driving through Central Park, Officer Lynch put his own safety aside to ensure the safety of the town's citizens and visitors on August 29th, 2023. Thank you so much. Yeah. Got it. There you go.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, do we have any public comments, or is anyone signed up this evening?
Yes, sir.
One person signed up, Sam Jones.
All right.
Get the clock up.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So, Mr. Mayor, members of the Town Council, and Town Manager, my name is Sam Jones, and my wife Julie and I live at 538 Monroe Avenue. I'm here tonight to thank you first for your continued support for keeping the Cape Charles Public Library on Mason Avenue. Visitation data from the Town Manager's weekly report confirms the benefits of a library that is central to the community and within easy walking distance for its citizens. As you look at the redevelopment of the library and surrounding properties, I support the rezoning of the lots behind the library and fronting Randolph Avenue to residential R1. Allowing the vacant lots to be developed as single-family homes manages the density in this area and is consistent with your various planning and zoning documents that call for Randolph to be a residential rather than a commercial street. Finally, having the town maintain ownership of the library, even as a part of a condominium arrangement, is important to its long-term viability. Ownership rather than any form of leaseback is preferred. And thank you again for your time and service to the community.
Thank you.
No one else has signed up, and I did not receive anything in writing prior to it.
All right, thank you. And on the consent agenda, can I have approval of the agenda format, approval of the minutes, and approval of July 31st, 2023 financial report?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, consent agenda passes. We have no unfinished business. New business, resolution of intent consideration of zoning map amendment application. Katie.
Good evening, Council.
We have received an application from Cherrystone Investments LLC relative to a rezoning application, and it's application ZMA 2023-03. Specifically, 2 years ago, this property, when it was owned by Southport Investors, was subdivided approximately 0.329 acres from one portion of a tax parcel adjacent to it, which they owned, and at that time was zoned GBI H1, and then 1.45 acres from another tax parcel. Those were all combined together. That 1.45 acres from that parcel was zoned Harbor. So we had split zoning on this when the subdivision occurred, and so now we're looking to hopefully correct that split subdivision and bring the parcel all under one type of zoning. The applicant is seeking to place this all under Harbor zoning. So with that, we are seeking your permission to start this through the public hearing process. To get this more specifically aligned, we did include a map in the staff report on page 2. It's the parcel outlined in red that created the total parcel in question. As you can see, it's a relatively small parcel that we are dealing with. The potential schedule that we are looking to do this on is have the legal ad show up in the paper tomorrow, have this go to public hearing at the Planning Commission meeting on October 3rd. Again, do the next round of advertisement as required for your public hearing process, with that public hearing occurring on October 21st. So we are seeking your permission to do that.
Is there a motion?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution of intent 20230921 for a zoning map amendment application.
I move for adoption of resolution of intent 20230921, zoning map amendment 2023-03, application from Cherrystone Investments LLC for tax map number 90-A-1A6 from general business light industrial GBI H1 and harbor to only harbor zoning as noticed, and forego the reading of the resolution. This is a roll call vote.
Well, I have a comment.
I'm
I have
sorry.
a comment first. Not that it's going to stop us reviewing in the Planning Commission, but the one parcel that you mentioned was Harbor. We did change that to GBI H1 in August of '21.
I'm not sure which parcel you're referencing.
The 90-8-1A1. That was rezoned.
It was rezoned to GBI H1.
Yes, in
Yes.
August of '21, which preceded the,
Except the
Right.
application for the subdivision was already moving through the system.
well, that's timing-wise, because you were
Yes.
talking on October 15th, Southport
It
Investors.
had already been approved by the town, it just took some time for it to get
All
recorded.
right, so it's a timing
It was already
issue.
in
Okay.
process,
All right,
so.
all right. That's all right.
Is there any other discussion? All right, roll call vote. Buckles,
Yes.
Buda,
Yes.
Ballmer,
Yes.
Grossman,
Yes,
Holloway.
Yes.
All right, those are known, it's unanimous. All right. Trash collection contract extension, November 1st, 23 through October 31st, 24.
So, Mr. Mayor, this is just a routine business matter. We are requesting that you allow us to execute the second of our 2 extensions for refuse removal from Davis Construction. The price has not changed, and we have appropriately budgeted for it, so staff would recommend approval.
A motion on the trash collection.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve waste collection and trash disposal services contract with Davis Disposal.
Second.
Is there any other discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Trash collection passes unanimously. Library building redevelopment recommendation. Mr. Hosey.
Mr. Mayor, this is kind of the meat of the meeting tonight, and we're doing something a little bit unusual here because the RFP that we put out was a little unusual. We usually have a pretty defined mission when we do something like this. Kind of threw a very wide net to see what developers would do. So we put the library building out there. We also included the Randolph lots behind it to see what we would get. We got some pretty interesting responses. Most of the developers did seize on the Randolph lots as an opportunity, as well as the library building. Most proposed high-density residential units there. We also unexpectedly got proposals to incorporate workforce housing in some of these proposals. These are all great ideas, but these were not part of the assumptions we made when we put the RFP together or when council authorized me to put this on the street. So we came back to you in June to show you what we got and get a little bit more guidance. And our takeaways from that was that no one was really excited about high-density residential units facing Randolph. That didn't really jive with the look and feel that we want on Randolph coming into town. And while workforce housing is something we need, that was not the most important thing in this project. So with that, we went back. The committee did. Went back, looked at the proposals again, and scrubbed them down to two really good proposals. One focused on developing everything, the Randolph lots, but only to single-family homes. We would rezone them to R1. And the third floor of the library would be one residential unit, and the building would be condoized, and we would retain ownership of the library. The other concept was to only purchase the library building, and then we would be free to put the Randolph lots back out again ourselves for additional revenue. And the concept there would be the third floor of the library would be converted into perhaps 3 or so workforce housing units. So we went back and forth on this. The committee did. We interviewed both proposers. They both had positive aspects to them, but at the end of the day, we felt that the better option and the most advantageous to the town was to go with the first option with City and Guild. That was the one where they would put those single-family homes only on Randolph, turn the third floor into just one residential unit, and provide a fairly reasonable price to the town. The town would also then retain ownership of the library portion itself. So what I'm asking you to do is to bless that approach. Now, I'm not bringing you two options to choose between because we've never completed our negotiations with Sandcastle, which was the other proposer. When the committee landed on this concept, we worked with City and Guild to come up with more or less a final deal, a final understanding of price and concept. If you agree with that approach, then we will go and develop the actual agreements. Those agreements are complex. It takes money to develop them, and we didn't want to go far down the road unless we were sure you were going to be okay with that. If you are not okay with that, then we would have to go back to Sandcastle and start negotiating with them in greater detail. Their concept again was more to buy just a library building. They were focusing more on a long-term lease back, and then we would have to put the lots out for on Randolph for sale if that's what we chose to do. So the staff and the committee really favored the City and Guild proposal, and we would seek your concurrence that we continue in that direction.
John, this is Paul. Can you give us a feel for pricing on just the library piece from that proposal?
No, we never finished that discussion. So, I mean, we were in the range of 500,000. But
Okay.
I'm not bringing you to complete proposals that have been worked to the end. It would be somewhere in the $500,000 range for just the building. Then we would put the lots out for sale. We would probably put them out for a minimum of $250,000 each. We just recently did that and got $300,000 for. It was a larger lot, but it wasn't as well ideally placed. So you're looking at a similar dollar amount, I think, at the end of the day. The big difference being, though, that in the Sandcastle one, although you might get something close to the same dollar amount, you would lose the equity in the building. So I think you actually get more value out of City and Guild because you get a similar dollar amount and you retain the equity of ownership, which you could always cash in on later.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I had one other question. The second floor front where we store now, that I'm assuming goes to City and Guilds? And if so, what's their intention for that portion?
That's all going to be incorporated into the one residential unit. I'm not sure exactly what their final design is going to be.
Okay, so it wasn't stated as though there would be a small residential unit there on the second floor?
No,
Okay.
it's only one unit, only one residential unit, and in fact, the developer himself was going to use it for his personal use.
Okay.
All right, there's no other questions. Can I get a motion on the library?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we proceed with City and Guilds' proposal for further development of the library building.
Second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we know that's passed unanimously. And Mr. Hosey, any other comments for this evening?
Yes, just a couple of things. Just on the last item, I just want to make sure, I don't know if I mentioned it. You just approved the concept. We will be bringing this back to you again for formal approval once we get the documents finished. So you will see this again.
Correct.
Okay, a couple of things. As you know, we put out the visitor center restroom project for bid. The bids came in with very disappointing results, significantly over budget. Bob has done a good job of trying to contact both the bidder, the contractor who did bid, and contractors that didn't bid to try and glean some information as to what's going on with these cost pressures. We're trying to strategize about how to move forward, not just with this, but with many of our projects. And I would like to ask that we schedule a work on Thursday, October 5th, to go over, so we can tell you what we know and we can talk about strategies going forward. I will say this just very briefly, that the predominant issue in this bid was lack of subs. The needed subs simply are completely overwhelmed and overtasked. They just are not available at all, really, and especially not on the Eastern Shore, and especially not for projects as small as this one. And so that was probably the single biggest issue with this bid. And so now we're trying to figure out what to do about it. Anyway, there's no objection. I would like to schedule a work session to cover our CIPs and strategy on October 5th. Is that okay?
I will not be present. I'm out of the country that night.
And
Okay.
I don't think I will be.
Is it possible for either of you to call in?
I am not sure.
Probably not.
I will be in Sicily, so I should have the time difference there.
Well, I mean, I selected that just to be timely. if there's a better time, we can schedule it whenever it works best. I'm sure you are all anxious to know what, and I didn't want to drag it out. But it's also important that as many of you as possible be there. So if there's a better date, let me know.
Can we do a work session prior to the regular meeting? Okay. On the October one? Okay. We'll figure it out when you get back.
So we're not going to schedule it for the 5th right now?
No, there's too many people out on the 5th.
Okay. Because I was also going to say that there had been a request for us to talk about our communication protocol, and I was going to schedule a discussion item on that issue as well. I think that Tammy's not going to be available at the next meeting, so I was going to work that into the same work session as the CIPs, if that works for everybody. Once we land on a date when everyone's available, if it's okay, I would like to have 2 topics of discussion. One would be the CIPs, and the other would be our communication protocol. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Tammy, when do you-
The 24th, that was short term, just a long.
Okay.
If it doesn't have to be a
asked,
Thursday, I would say the week of the 16th.
well, I'll tell you what. After the meeting, would you please get your availability to Libby, and let Libby start putting together some options?
Absolutely.
Okay. I just want to, next thing, I just want to give you a beach update. So as you know, they started moving faster than they thought. That wasn't great for our public notice. It's good for the project. Things are going well, and the sooner they get started, the sooner they finish. But right now, we had to close off the area a week sooner than what we had originally told the public. My understanding is they will start test dredging on Saturday the 23rd, and assuming everything goes well, we should see full-blown dredging starting the following Tuesday the 26th.
Yeah, they're going to have to push everything back, John, with that storm coming in.
Oh,
I talked to
okay.
them today. They're not going to try to put the boats out there and get all the lines set up with the surge that's coming in. So they pushed it to Monday.
Okay. They had also requested that the next section of beach be closed the following week. So I don't know if that's going to get delayed as well. So when we say next section, what we're doing is going basically by block. So right now everything north of Madison is the project area. So we'll go down to Monroe next. I will be in contact with the project manager and with Public Works. But the next section could close as early as next Friday. So just giving a heads up. I will once I get some more details from Public Works in the next day or two, I will put out another notice. And I think that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Thank you. Council members, any comments this evening?
I just had a question about preparation for the storm.
Mm-hmm.
Public Works working on storm grant checks and all that stuff. I don't know if you guys got that alert, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
know that like woke up the town completely.
Exactly. It was loud.
Yeah, it was very loud. I just don't know what our normal protocol is, John. Maybe you can speak to that of what they do in preparation for making sure everything's good for storm surge.
Yeah, they're expecting about 4 inches.
Yes, that's exactly right. They'll go around and they'll check for make sure the storm drains are as clear as possible. They're also going to go around and try to secure anything that's loose. So especially equipment or anything that could be blown around.
Hey, John, can we put something out to ask citizens to not put out any lawn debris for the next 2 days?
Just pick
Unless it's going to all be picked up, because I mean, if it's out there and it doesn't get picked up, it's going to jam up everything.
Okay, good thought. Okay.
In the past, I don't know, this has just kind of come about very quickly, differently. In the past, we've set up a pile of sand and bags for businesses. Are we expecting flooding? I mean, what's the, I really, to be honest, have not followed things closely.
We only did that with hurricanes. This isn't gonna be,
And I don't think we have the time at this point,
no, because when Ernesto hit, we had 11 inches in 2 hours.
right? And then
It
another
was a
one
slight
where it
problem.
came back around, that said it
Yeah.
wasn't gonna hit us.
Yeah.
Matthews.
Bring your kayaks out.
Yeah, I think just giving notice and putting out something, just, you know, asking citizens to not, you know, not do any yard work tomorrow and not put the trash out or things like that would be helpful.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Comment I'd like to make is just to ask citizens to subscribe to alerts from the town. You see on Facebook frequently people asking the same question over and over again that, John, you've sent out in 3 or 4 different notices. So if folks would subscribe to those, they will become more informed and maybe feel a little more reassured on what the town is doing.
I got an idea.
Okay, you know, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea for us to maybe, you know, quarterly, put that on Facebook, because you get new people coming in, and they may not know that, yeah, you know, Nixle is important. A lot of people sign up for Nixle, but you need to also sign up for e-notification. The e-notification is a lot more of just the regular non-emergent stuff. So you really need to sign up for both. And people don't know to do that, you know, they don't know what they don't know. So maybe, you know, on a routine basis, maybe once a quarter, we should put that out on Facebook. So
Pin it to the
people-
top of the page, so it's there all the time.
On the
Facebook, pin it to the top. Just
either
so
the
every
Facebook
time,
or on the
anytime you go,
site.
anytime you
A
go
lot
to
of
the
people don't
website.
have Facebook.
Yeah, but the people that come there and ask those questions on Facebook, if it's pinned to the top, they're gonna see it, so they're gonna constantly see it. I would just put it at the top.
In a yearly basis, we put it in with the utility bill,
Right.
just as a regular thing. Those people, no matter what you're on, you get through utility bill.
Correct. All right, anybody else? Well, I'll make some announcements. So September 27th, we have the ice cream social. Brown Dog Ice Cream will be catering that. That's at 6 p.m.
27.
September 28th will be Town Council and Planning Commission joint work session at 6 p.m. right here. October 5th, Town Council, well, we canceled that, so never mind. October 9th, Town office is closed for Columbus Day. And October 19th will be our next regular Town Council meeting. And if I can have a motion for adjournment.
So moved?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.